Genesis chapter 10. Now this is a history of the generations of the sons of Noah, and of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Of these were the islands of the nations divided in their lands, everyone after his language, after their families, in their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raamah, and Sabteca. The sons of Raamah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush became the father of Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land he went into Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and the great city Calah. Mizraim became the father of Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naphtahim, Pathrusim, Chalsuhim, which the Philistines descended from, and Caphtorim. Canaan became the father of Sidon, his firstborn, Heth, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were spread abroad. The border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as you go to Gerar, to Gaza as you go towards Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zebolim, to Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, according to their languages, in their lands and their nations. Children were also born to Shem, the elder brother of Japheth, the father of all the children of Eber. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad became the father of Shelah. Shelah became the father of Eber. To Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided. His brother's name was Joktan. Joktan became the father of Elmodad, Shilpah, Hazmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzel, Diklah, Obal, Amiel, Sheba, and Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Their dwelling extended from Mesha as you go towards Sephor, the mountain of the east. These are the sons of Shem by their families, according to their languages, lands, and nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah by their generations, according to their nations, the nations divided from these in the earth after the flood. Genesis chapter Key Points. Sons were born to Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, creating the nations of the world after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Cush became the father of Nimrod, a mighty one on the earth. His kingdom included both Babel and Nineveh. Canaan became the father of Sidon, Heth, the Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. Shem was the father of all the children of Eber. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. To Eber were born 2 sons, Peleg and Joktan. In their days the earth was divided. Genesis chapter. Ponder this. The genealogy of Noah. Verse 1. Now this is a history of the generations of the sons of Noah and of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. From the line of Noah came Shem, Ham, and Japheth. From the line of Shem came Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. From the line of Arphaxad came Shelah and Eber. From Eber came Peleg and Joktan. Joktan had other sons. From the line of Peleg came Terah. From Terah came Abram, Nahor, and Haran. From Haran came Lot. From Abram came Ishmael. Abram's name was changed to Abraham, and from the line of Abraham came Isaac and Jacob, later named Israel. Aram had other sons. From the line of Ham came Cush, Mizraim, and Canaan. From the line of Cush came Siva, Havilah, Sabta, Sabtica, and Raamah. From the line of Cush also came Nimrod. From the line of Raamah came Sheba and Dedan. From the line of Mizraim came other sons, including Casluhim. From Casluhim came the Philistines. From Canaan came Sidon, Heth, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. From the line of Japheth came Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. From Gomer came sons, and for Javan came sons. These were the peoples who populated the earth after the flood. Noah settled in China, Shem settled in Asia, Ham settled in Africa, and Japheth settled in Europe. Noah's 3 sons made it into the ark. Verse 1. Now this is the history of the generations of the sons of Noah and of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The Bible records Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, by the time he was 500 years old. These sons then had sons of their own after the flood. The Bible makes mention of all the descendants of Adam to Noah. Genesis 5, This patriarchal lineage account from Adam to Lamech details the age of each son when they had their own son, and lists how they had other sons and daughters. In this record, Noah is the only male from his line to whom the specification of other sons and daughters was not mentioned, either because he did not have any other children, or they were not pertinent to the lineage after the flood, as only Shem, Ham, and Japheth lived through the flood to procreate and repopulate the earth, establishing nations according to their families. Therefore, it is unclear if Noah did indeed father other children prior to the year he was commissioned by God to build the ark. While the Bible rarely mentions any daughters in the generational lines, for they marry and become a part of another man's lineage, the fact the Bible only mentions 3 sons could mean they were his only sons, or the only sons who maintained righteousness alongside Noah and his wife and their own 3 wives. Noah was born at a time when he would have lived alongside his forefathers, direct descendants of Adam. As the earth became populated, he may have lived far from his ancestors, although the history of how the earth began and the very first man created would have been passed down from generation to generation. When the floods came, all of the lineal descendants from Adam to Noah had died. Noah's grandfather Methuselah, the son of whom his father Enoch named his death would bring the coming flood, lived his entire life with this prophecy. For 969 years, Methuselah and all his children would have known about the coming flood. Although he had other sons and daughters, only his one son, Lamech's son Noah, made it into the ark with his wife, 3 sons, and their 3 wives. Genesis 7. In the entirety of the earth, less than 10 people were found to be righteous and make it into the ark to escape the coming judgment. Not one of his ancestors or possible previous children, if any, made it into the ark. This demonstrates the depravity and corruption on the earth, where even immediate family were not saved alongside Noah, as Methuselah and Lamech died before the flood. It could be with the passage of time, people become desensitized to the coming judgment and destruction of the earth and refused to be saved. Similarly, with Sodom and Gomorrah, God revealed to Abraham he was bringing destruction to these cities due to their wickedness and depravity. Abraham pleaded with God to spare the cities for the sake of the 10 righteous inhabitants. God promised Abraham he would spare the cities if 10 righteous were found. However, only Abraham's nephew Lot, his wife, his 2 daughters, and pledged sons-in-law were righteous. Sodom and Gomorrah then suffered the judgment of fire and sulfur from the sky and were destroyed, for the wages of sin is death. Romans 6. However, due to the righteous few, God spared them and directed his angels to help them escape the cities prior to their judgment. Genesis 19. Even though Lot's sons-in-law were offered salvation, believing Lot to be joking of the coming judgment, they refused to leave the city and were consumed. In Noah's time, there could have been more righteous, but they did not enter the ark at the time of salvation. Likewise, today, people become lax to the prophecies of Jesus' second coming and the subsequent tribulation period of extreme judgment on the earth. Matthew 24. Where Jesus cautions us to be as the wise virgins maintaining oil in their lamps, vigilant for their bridegroom's return. Matthew 25. It is the passing of time, worldly pursuits, and pervasive wickedness upon the earth, which causes man to fall deaf to the warnings and prophecies of coming judgment, foregoing the salvation provided by God and thereby ensuring their judgment. Nimrod, a Nephilim mighty one, verses 6 through 8. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, and Raamah, and Saptica. The sons of Raamah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush became the father of Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. When God created every living thing, He did so, providing each creation with an everlasting soul which will either live forever with Him in eternity or perish in anguish. Romans 2. In heaven, God resides with the heavenly angels and creatures He has made. The creatures, being in the presence of the all-powerful, all-knowing God, worship Him continually. Psalms 148. The angels were present when God created the earth. After having created the entire earth, filling it with food and creatures, God then planned to create man, granting him authority and dominion over everything He had made for man to enjoy and inhabit. In heaven, knowing God was going to create man, Lucifer, an archangel, pleaded with God not to create man and asked why, having created his heavenly spirit creatures, He would need to form man in His image. Psalms 8. God proceeded to create Adam, the first human made in His likeness, and Adam became a living and breathing soul with a spirit and physical body. God, pleased with His final creation, would leave His heavenly home to come down to earth and commune with man in the Garden of Eden. Genesis 3. God so enjoyed man, He provided for him everything he needed to enjoy His world and provided for him the tree of life with fruit he could eat of and continue to live forever. The only tree Adam could not eat of was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when Adam ate of it, he would surely die. Genesis 2. With the creation of man, the order of dominion established by God was God, man, angels and heavenly creatures, and animals on the earth. Genesis 1. In retaliation for God's creation of man, Lucifer then rebelled against God and was cast down from heaven alongside his cohorts for their rebellion against God, their dwelling place becoming earth and he becoming Satan. Isaiah 14. They were now spiritual beings inhabiting an earthly realm. From that time to this, Satan has aspired to be like God. As man is created in the image of God, Satan has aspired to be like man, having dominion over all the earth. This desire resulted in Satan tricking Eve in the Garden of Eden into taking of the forbidden fruit, forcing upon the earth rebellion and beginning the process of death and destruction. Genesis 3. After the disobedience of man, the order of dominion became God, angels and heavenly creatures, animals, and then man. The animals becoming a sacrifice for the sins of man, now being higher in the order of dominion and able to atone for their sin. With their disobedience, Adam and Eve were banned from the Garden of Eden and were no longer able to take of the tree of life, thereby beginning the process of aging and eventual death. Adam knew Eve, and she bore children and began to populate the earth. Angels looked upon the daughters of man and desired them for themselves, taking whom they desired and bringing into the earth a new being, the Nephilim, giants, part human and part angel. A physical being carrying the characteristics of humans with the supernatural abilities of angels, referred to as the mighty men who were of old, men of renown upon the earth. Genesis 6. The angels had figured out a way to create offspring who were part human with a physical body. However, like all humans after the disobedience of Adam and Eve, these part human, part angel offspring would one day die. It is speculated that upon death they would become disembodied spirits, roaming the earth, as although their human body died, their angel spirit still roams the earth. In this biblical account, Nimrod became a mighty one, a reference to becoming a Nephilim with great abilities on the earth. His abilities were so renowned they were made known to God in heaven. However, he was not a righteous man and would establish the cities of Babel and Nineveh on the earth, that with time would gain the attention of God for their wickedness and depravity. However, like all Nephilim, Nimrod would also eventually die. Nimrod, Gilgamesh, and Hercules, verses 6 through 12. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raamah, and Sabteka. The sons of Raamah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush became the father of Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land he went into Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and the great city Calah. Nimrod, a descendant of Cush, is also referenced as a mighty one, a term used for the Nephilim, giants, a product of the fallen angels, part human and part angel. Nimrod, as a mighty one upon the earth, was a giant, larger and stronger than humans. What is of note is Nimrod began to be a mighty one. Fallen angels will have needed two things to occur in order to have offspring with human women: have a physical body in which to procreate, and the baby in the woman's womb would have needed to remain small enough for the birthing. Given the baby needed to be born the size of a normal human, as it grew, it would begin to establish the characteristics and size of a Nephilim giant. However, the account of the Nephilim is the product of an angel and human woman. Nimrod, as the son of Cush, son of Ham, son of Noah, who was perfect in his generations, having no tainted blood of the fallen angels, would have come to be a Nephilim in another way. The Bible recounts the sons of Cush. Then in the next sentence it states Cush became the father of Nimrod. There were Nephilim on the earth prior to and after the flood. As the flood killed all Nephilim on the earth, angels once again took women and procreated on the earth, creating more Nephilim. It could be the mother of Nimrod was a female born of a previous union of fallen angel and human woman, for the Bible does not indicate their union only resulted in male children. As daughters were not usually listed in the genealogies, this could have occurred. If so, it seems Nimrod went through a process by which he transformed from human to giant, possibly during adolescence. In any event, Nimrod was born and at a later date became as the Nephilim. He would have known the story of the ark and how God brought about a great flood to destroy the wickedness and Nephilim on the earth. He knew God Almighty was able to bring destruction on the earth when corruption sought to overtake righteousness. Thus, he was inclined to partake in ventures which promised him protection against judgment from God above and never die. In constructing the Tower of Babel to create a tower so high it would never be destroyed by another flood. Flavius Josephus, the Jewish historian, wrote, "Now it was Nimrod who excited them to such an affront and contempt of God. He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man and of great strength of hand. He persuaded them not to ascribe it to God, as it was through his means that they were happy, but to believe that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. He also gradually changed the government into tyranny, seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of God but to bring them into a constant dependence on his power. He also said he would be revenged on God if he should have a mind to drown the world again, for that he would build a tower too high for the waters to be able to reach, and that he would avenge himself on God for destroying their forefathers." Jewish Antiquities, Book 1, Chapter 4, Paragraph 2. Nimrod may have been referring to his human forefathers or fellow Nephilim. There is a belief Nimrod was indeed one of Cush's sons. However, he was not actually named Nimrod, but rather the persona of Nimrod, which means rebel or tyrant. What is interesting with the character of Nimrod is there are historical accounts of a Nimrod-like persona named Gilgamesh, king of Uruk, found in the palace library Ashurbanipal of Nineveh, a city established by Nimrod. Likewise, a similar like person is referenced by the Sumerians, Babylonians, Assyrians, and the Hittites. Gilgamesh was the focus of an epic of Gilgamesh, a collection of stories based on his exploits and depravity upon the earth. Like Nimrod, Gilgamesh was a giant, rebelled against God, built cities, operated in tyranny, took whichever woman he wanted, like the sons of God, was a mighty hunter, focused his efforts on how to get people to forsake God and follow him, and sought revenge on God for the death of his forefathers in a flood. There is also speculation the symbol G in Freemasonry refers to Gilgamesh, as there are levels of hidden knowledge revealed to every degree attained in the order. Likewise, the story of Nimrod is also rumored to be the inspiration for Hercules, son of a god and human woman, part man, part God. The descendants of Canaan, verses 15 through 20. Canaan became the father of Sidon, his firstborn, Heth, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were spread abroad. The border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as you go towards Gerar to Gaza as you go towards Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim to Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, according to their languages, in their lands and their nations. The curse upon Canaan. These were the descendants of Canaan who established their nation by the great sea. Canaan, their forefather, brought a curse upon himself for dishonoring his father Noah after the flood, when Noah was drunk off the wine, naked and vulnerable in his tent. Noah declared, "Canaan is cursed. He will be a servant of servants to his brothers. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth. Let him dwell in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan be his servant. Genesis 9. The curse upon the land of Canaan details a time in future when the inhabitants of Canaan are under a curse and will become the servants of Japheth and Shem. Shem carrying the greatest blessing, where Canaan is his servant, and Japheth will benefit from the prosperity of Shem, Canaan being in service to both his brothers. God is foretelling a time when Canaanites will be the servants of Israel. God knew in the future there would be a people operating in wickedness, and their judgment would be death and destruction. For transgressors they shall be destroyed together. The future of the wicked shall be cut off. Psalms 37. Due to this pending judgment, God determined to use Israel to dispense the judgment, while at the same time providing for them a land flowing with milk and honey, a land prosperous for his people after their affliction in Egypt. Exodus 3. The children of Eber, verses 21 through 25. Children were also born to Shem, the elder brother of Japheth, the father of all the children of Eber. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad became the father of Selah. Selah became the father of Eber. To Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided. His brother's name was Joktan. The Abrahamic Covenant. Abram, later named Abraham for he would be the father of many nations, Genesis 17, is a descendant of Shem, and the blessing upon Shem carried down to Abram, Genesis 9. Abraham would father Isaac, and Isaac would father Jacob, later named Israel. It was from Isaac the children of Israel would become God's chosen people, with whom he would establish an everlasting covenant. The children of Israel would enter into a time of bondage in Egypt for 400 years. They would leave Egypt by the mighty hand of God and go into the land of Canaan and beyond, conquering the land the Lord God had promised them. Even though the land they were moving into was occupied, because of the wickedness, depravity, unrighteousness, and idolatry of the land, God directed his children to go into the land, move forward, fight, and conquer the land for their inheritance. Joshua 1. God, who knows the end from the beginning, was not taking away land unjustly. When the earth becomes corrupt, God will judge the nation and issue a verdict, bringing forth righteous judgment. After their bondage, the Lord God granted favor to his people, who moved into the land God had provided them in order to conquer their promise and ensure the land for future generations, while completing the prophecy of the curse upon the land of Canaan. Genesis chapter quiz. Congratulations! You have now completed this chapter. Thank you for watching. What did you find interesting about this chapter? How many questions did you get correct on the quiz? Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment down below. Turn on the bell button to get notified of new videos and catch up on past videos. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.